This video is intended to walk you through the introductory assignments that are all due on the first Tuesday of our course. To get started, you'll see to the left a checklist for the first week. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to navigate over to Canvas, and I'll put it on the student view so you see it exactly as you would when you log in. And if you want to start by collapsing each of the modules, you could do that to make it really easy to see the titles. But where I'm at is the Start Here, Introductory Assignments and Content. And maybe that's where you got the link to this video. When you open a module in Canvas, what's really nice about it is you can click or open the first item. That's what I'll do here. And then from there, you just hit next to go to the next item. Here's what would happen. When we select this link, that's going to give you a copy of that assignment list that I showed. So let me move this over so that you can see this side by side. So I've got the checklist on one side, and then we've got the Canvas on the other. And that'll enable us to work through Canvas, but at the same time, you can see what's going on the list. Now, notice that the purpose of this page is to walk you through the steps you need to follow to prepare for the class. And these tasks should be completed by Tuesday, the first Tuesday of our class at the very latest. They open up on Friday, and you can get started right away. The first thing you want to do is be sure that you're reading everything thoroughly. When you get to the bottom of a page, you can hit next. Now, note that this says we're in Math 177, 230, an 8-week class. You might also be in section 240, a 6-week class. But notice that for this video, I just selected this course. But their introductory assignments are identical. So to start with, you can get the actual checklist with this link. That'll give you this document to the left. Notice a little bit of information and some content about what to do. So the first step is to send Dr. Granger an email from your school, your STLCC email account. Include the following in your email. In the subject line, you'll need your course number and section. So it's either Math 177 230 if you're in the 8-week class, or Math 177 240 if you're in the 6-week class. I'll tell you what, if you have a hard time remembering the 230, 240, if you even wrote Math 177 8-week or Math 177 6-week, that'll be okay also. In the body of your email, include your first and last name. State that you have enrolled in the Math 177 class and are working on the introductory assignments. And then you could use that email to ask me any questions that you have about the syllabus or calendar at that point. Next, you simply hit the next button at the bottom of the page. And what's going to happen is you'll see it's just going to walk us right through each of these things. So really, you don't have to have this document, this checklist document. If you just keep hitting next, it walks you through everything. But I like to have a roadmap ahead of me so I know exactly where I'm going. The first assignment is my weekly schedule. Let me show you that assignment, what that looks like. When it's completed, it looks like this, where you've written Math 177 in the correct number of spaces. That is 24 hours a week. I know that's a lot, but it's a 4-credit-hour class in an 8-week period. But if you're in the 8-week class, you're going to write or type. Either way, you could print this and write on it, or you could type onto the Word document and save it. But Math 177, if you're in the 8-week class, you need to find 24 one-hour blocks, and you're saying, here are the 24 hours throughout a typical week that I intend to work on Math 177. If you're in the 6-week course, that means that you're completing this course in 6 weeks instead of 16. So that's even more. And so that would be 32 hours each week. It's a full-time job. So write the or type the Math 177 in the correct number of blocks. And then when you're ready to submit that, you'll save the assignment, save it with your last name, first name, and then the title, weekly schedule. So you'll save the assignment after you've typed in it, or if you printed it and wrote on it, then you could scan it and save the PDF. Here you get the open document or the PDF. That's what you would use to work on. And then if you want to see this sample again, so you have an idea of what you should be doing, then you could open my weekly schedule. But the one piece is you've got to have the correct number of spaces written for the math class. And then what you'd write in the other spaces is other times that you are scheduled to be somewhere or doing something, just your typical schedule. The purpose of this is to give you an idea of what you'll need to plan to do over the next 6 or 8 weeks. So the type of schedule you'll need to keep. Now, I will say that some students find it takes less, and that would be the student who is more organized, gets distracted less often, and maybe is coming into the course as a stronger math student. So it might take fewer than that many hours. And others, you know, if you are one of the students who just takes a lot longer for things, and if that's you, it's okay, but make sure you're planning accordingly. The next thing, number 2 on our checklist, says to read the course documents. You could click this link to go back to that folder, or you could go to it directly from modules. Maybe you've already done that, but it included the syllabus, the graded assignments, course schedule, the unit checklists, and make sure you've read those before you move on. If you've already read the course documents, you can hit the next button at the bottom. And from the next button, we get to number 3, register for MyLab Math. To get registered on MyLab Math, follow the directions here, but watch how easy it is. All you do is click this MyLab and Mastering off to the left. And then now, since I've already done this, it lets me write in. If you haven't done it before, it's going to ask you for some information. So for example, it'll ask you to agree to some different things, and then it'll ask you, are you going to enter with an access code, or are you going to buy it directly? But again, since I've already logged in, it's allowing me right through. But this is a really important piece to the introduction. You want to make sure you take care of this immediately. And there is a fee for the course materials. You might have purchased this through the bookstore, in which case you would have an access code in your email inbox, possibly. And what you would do is type in that access code. If you didn't purchase it through the bookstore, you could also purchase it directly through Pearson, through MyLab Math. But one way or another, you want to get logged in. If you need to use the temporary access, that gives you 14 days with no fee to just get started. But one way or another, please make sure that you've done this. Once you've gotten registered, there is an assignment in the Math Lab assignments. When you open it up, this MyLab Math orientation assignment. So you want to start that, finish that on or before Tuesday. Also, all this assignment does is walks you through how to do different assignments, how to type in answers on MyLab Math. But that was number 3, get registered on MyLab Math. Number 4, so I'm going to go back and let me show you this one more time. Here's the information. I went back to number 3, and when I hit next, you can get a picture of what that temporary access looks like. Now, ignore these prices. This is an old photo. But at the bottom, you'll see this. It's kind of small, but you'll see somewhere a link where you can get temporary access for 14 days. So if you don't have an access code and you aren't prepared to purchase the access right now, then at least get started with that grace period. That's number 3. And then when I hit next, it'll take me to number 4, some information about Testing Center. This course does require 2 in-person proctored tests. So I'm asking you to read the proctored test information and then to start thinking through, and if you can, determine it now, but thinking through what dates and what locations you're going to take the exams. But this is all the proctored test information you need. Read it thoroughly. And then if you do know when and where you're taking your exams, then you could send that off to me now in this short survey uh, that you've created those. You could send off that you've created those appointments. And again, number 4, there are 2 proctored in-person tests. So this piece here is that you're simply thinking through where and when you'll take your tests. Now, these tests do have due dates, but the window for taking the test is several dates. So it doesn't have to be done on that one day. There's several days to choose from, but make sure you're planning accordingly and quickly. What I've heard from some students is they waited till the 2 days before the test, thought they could get an appointment, and the appointments were all booked, so they were unable to get an appointment by the due date. So I'm encouraging everyone to get that scheduled well in advance. If by the end of this week you could finish scheduling those tests, that would be terrific. And just plan your schedule, your work schedule, your travel schedule, everything else around those dates as needed. That takes us to number 5, submit this assignment. Demonstrate that you can scan and submit a two-sided page. So the directions are here, but just in general, what this is helping you walk through is how you are going to be able to scan your documents. There are a number of documents, written papers that will be scanned and submitted on Canvas since we're online and not in person. And I will say that if you have a smartphone, the quickest, easiest way that I've heard back from students with how to do the scanning is just with that smartphone. With iPhone, what I'm hearing from students is that there's a notes application that you could use. And with an Android phone, I know I've frequently scanned using the Google Drive, but there are many other options also. Maybe you have access to a scanner. Now, the very easy way to scan if you're an STLCC student and can get to a library, an STLCC library, is you could use the library scanner anytime for free of charge. But make sure you can scan and submit a page that's two-sided, but scanned as a single PDF. So nice, easy assignment for some. If you're not as fluent with that technology, it might feel frustrating, but believe me, it's a lot better to be a little bit frustrated now than to be up against the due date and not able to submit an assignment because you can't get the scan made. Number 6 is a short survey, and to start this assignment, you'd click Start. But what this is, it's a document. You could either open the Word document or the PDF. So if you're using the Word document, which I would suggest for this assignment, I would suggest that Word document. And you type directly into the document. So my first name is Kim, my last name is Granger, contact information. So I'll type in my address, my phone number, and my STLCC email, and so on. So just a quick survey, not a lot of information on here. And when you finish this, you save it as a Word document or save it as a PDF and submit it. You hit Start Assignment and submit it on Canvas. By the way, if you're not familiar with how to submit assignments on Canvas, if you go back to modules, there is a video on how to do that. So if we go back to modules, you can see in the introductory videos that link to videos that introduce you to your course, you can find that there is a video here, a tutorial on submitting an assignment on Canvas. So if you skipped those videos earlier and you're realizing now that you don't know how to submit a scanned assignment on Canvas, then watch that video to get that information. Once you've done this, you can hit Next, and it leads you to an introductory discussion board. So you'll, this one's really easy because it's embedded right here. You simply hit reply and then type your answers. So you hit reply and what degree are you working towards, what field are you working in, what four-year university do you either attend or plan to transfer to, and then share an interesting fact about yourself. So I've already done that. You could read mine. And then once you've completed the discussion board, hit next. Now keep in mind, you'll want to come back here to the discussion board later throughout the day or before the end of the day on Tuesday and reply to a few of your classmates. To get full credit, you'll need to reply to at least two of them. Not just, oh, thanks for sharing, but something that helps you connect with another student in the class. Number 8, submit the assignment, gather your supplies, and organize your notebook. So what you'll do, you'll need a 3-ring binder, and it needs to be at least 2 inches wide. And I'm saying 2 inches wide because I've learned from experience that if it's smaller than that, you're not going to be able to keep all your papers in there. You need 7 dividers, 1 for each quiz. And let me explain the benefit of this. Some of you are taking this course because you're in a program that requires it, and there could be a very good chance that future courses in your degree program will use the content from this class, and you'll be expected to already know this material. And if you keep this nice 3-ring binder throughout the course, you'll be able to take all of those papers out and file them somewhere so that you can access them and use them when you need that content. What I'm asking you to do for this assignment is, number 1, get your binder, your 3-ring binder, all set up. And then I'm asking you to take 3 pictures, a picture of the front, a picture that just shows that it's organized with those dividers, and then a picture that shows that it's at least 2 inches. So I've got a ruler here. Sometimes students just leave the sticker that says this is a 2-inch or 2.5 inch or 3-inch binder. But keep in mind that you'll need 3 pictures. You could then submit each of the 3 pictures. So you start assignment and you submit the 3 pictures, or you could copy the 3 pictures into a Word document and submit the Word document. Either way, you need to submit those pictures to show that you've completed this, which is gather your supplies and take the pictures. Number 9, if you haven't already done so, watch the introductory videos. Here's another link to that. And number 10, there's a short quiz. You take the quiz as many times as you want. I would encourage you to start with 100% in the class, right? So if you miss something on the quiz, you can go back and retake it. It's a pretty short quiz, but it just assesses whether there's anything you've misunderstood on this checklist. And then finally, to the introductory assignment checklist, it says it's a quiz, but it's not really. Here's what the questions. You're just saying, yes, I've done this, or no, I haven't done it yet, right? Have you submitted the My Weekly schedule? No, I have a 0 for this assignment. Or hopefully you've done it by then, right? So yes, I've submitted it. Have you read the course documents? Yes, I've read them. Let me explain this assignment. It's more as a final checkoff for you than it is a graded assignment. This is really just graded by whether you completed it or not. But I find that even with this listing, with everything being on Canvas, hitting the next one thing after the other, that sometimes a student could get into a chaotic mess with some of the requirements for this introduction and just completely overlook something. And this is your last opportunity to double check that you haven't overlooked something. So you could use this really carefully to make sure you've gotten every single item taken care of, and then you just submit it and you're done. Now that's it for the introductory assignments. But if you finish all that and you're like, oh, I'm just in a roll, I want to keep going, there are 2 other assignments you could jump into that are introductory assignments, but not due quite yet. One is the Learning Online at STLCC. Let me back out of this. So I'll go back to the checklist here. Once you've completed that list, if you hit next at the bottom of that, if I hadn't started the quiz, I could have hit next. It takes me to this Learning Online. So if after you complete the Learning Online at STLCC, you can upload a picture of your screenshot or some way document. If you have the completion certificate, somehow document that you've completed that tutorial. It's a tutorial on how to use Canvas. And if you've completed that in prior semesters, then you could use the same certification. You don't have to redo this. But you do want to complete this by week from Monday. And then there are some videos with guided notes on being a better math student. Anyone can be a math person. And here are the instructions here. You'd print the guided note for the video, watch the video and complete the guided note, scan and submit the completed note. So each of the note files is here for you. You open up the note file, click on the video. So the first one is how to watch learning videos, and how the second one is how to have a growth mindset, how to study for an exam, test anxiety. So these are really short and I'm going to say really well made videos. So if you want to get a little bit ahead, they're not due until June 13th, but if you feel like your schedule allows it, you might as well do it now. And then once we hit next from there, it shows that we've hit the end of a folder or module. And I put that end block at the end of each module so that you don't accidentally just keep hitting next and realize that you're already going into the next module, and that could get confusing sometimes because you maybe weren't planning to do that assignment yet. But if you hit next, the bottom, when you get to, this is just taking us to those, anyone can be a math person, turn-in spots. But you could get to each of those and keep going through the next module. Let me show you when we go back to modules, you could see how what just happened is we finished up the Start Here Introductory Assignments, and it went right into anyone can be a math person. And that happened because I didn't stop at that folder. Well, I hope that this introduction has been helpful to you, and I hope that you find that the instructions on Canvas are clear and easy to follow. But keep in mind that I'm here to help you online. Doesn't mean on your own. So if you do need assistance with these introductory assignments, don't hesitate to reach out.